back again, episode 3. It's the Shiesty Show. I'm your host, Matt. Another great week of football, another great week of baseball. Even had some boxing over the weekend. I know I was a little off last week. Just had a daughter, was going through a lot. But I'm trying to be consistent, man. That's all this podcast game is about, being consistent. So every Monday, every Tuesday, not really too sure on what days I'm trying to drop yet, but around those days. But again, we're here to talk about anything and everything, entertainment-wise, sports-wise. This the Shiesty Show, man. So we back live again, back in the booth. First thing I want to get to is we got baseball on right now. Told my boy I was going to talk about the Padres. I'm not a big baseball guy. Not really a sport that I tend to watch a lot. I just think there's too many games in baseball. 182 games. I played 3-4 times in 1 week sometimes, back to back. So, we're not really on it like that. Like I said, my team is the Rockies. Rockies are not in there. So, we got the Yankees playing the Rockets. My bad, the Rockets. This ain't basketball, fool. So we got the Yankees playing the Astros. And we got San Diego playing the Padres. Score is 2-0. So it looks like Padres might take the L in game 1 so far. You know what, man? That's cool, though. I'm happy for SD. For a long time, it was all about the Chargers. Nobody really even cared about the Padres. They wasn't making a stamp on the game. Never really heard about anyone liking the Padres until about 3-4 years ago. But you know what, man? Happy for him. SD finally got a team to be proud of, something they could be proud of. I know the Clippers were there back in the days. But they actually got a team that they could be proud of, man, and actually bring a championship back, or not back, sorry, San Diego. Bring San Diego a championship, which would be pretty awesome. I know the city would love that. Like I said, not the biggest baseball guy, but I tend to watch here and there. I know definitely around playoff time, it's a little bit more interesting, a little bit more competitive for sure, a little bit more manageable to watch, knowing there's only 7 games. So, everything looks like, let me see right now. Someone just hit. Oh, man. So, Padres ain't looking too good right now, even though they took out the Dodgers. Not a big Dodger fan. Not like I said, not a baseball fan, but I know a lot of people were hyped and thrilled. The Dodgers had the most wins in their historic, illustrious career or franchise. So, that's good. But it just seems like the Dodgers, to me, as a spectator and as a so-so fan, that's what you could call me, the so-so fan. I ain't really in it like that, but from afar, it always seems like the Dodgers are there in the end. They get there or they get close to getting there, and they, other than that one ring they won a couple years ago, it's been get there, fail, get there, fail, get there, fail, break records, get there, fail. But no hate on the Dodgers here, man. Just from what I observe and what I see. ESPN and how they were all hyped about having a 100-win season, and that's real cool. But like I said, I'm not really the biggest Dodger fan, but we'll see. Either way, it's California, San Diego, Dodgers, whatever it is. Let's see if they could bring a championship back to good old Cali. So that's my baseball talk for now. Like I said, man, this ain't gonna be the biggest baseball podcast, but we'll talk a little baseball here. Next thing we gotta talk about, man, it's back on the list. I keep hearing it in the news. I keep reading it. People asking me, is the fight happening and is it not happening? Earl Spence, Terrence Crawford, Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia, is it happening? Is it not happening? This is exactly what I explained on the last podcast. I know I didn't really go into depth, but you know what? Now with boxing, I don't believe these fights that the fighters say they're gonna take, because in the long run we get invested into the fight they say they're gonna make, and then they turn around and fight some no-name guys, some fucking John Doe off the streets that picked up boxing 3 years ago, and they go in there, knock them out, clean them up, and we're supposed to be excited. I'm not excited about this, man. I love boxing to a T, but this is what's killing boxing right now. You can sit and wait for someone to get old. You can sit and wait to pick and choose. You can sit and wait to fight somebody less threatening to the record, to the belts. Um, so, like I said, man, when the Terrence Crawford, Earl Spence thing, I don't believe nothing until I see the paperwork finished, contract signed, date announced by T-Mobile Arena, Allegiant Stadium where the Raiders play. Um, I don't believe anything until I see the venue actually confirm the date and the fight. Because all these fighters run their mouth. Like I overheard Tank on Instagram and Ryan going back and forth talking about I ran into him in the club and he had his ice on. I tried to take his chain and blah blah blah. Man, that's all for the show. That's all for the stunt. That's all for people to get hyped and spread their name on social media, get them more followers. You know, this ain't the age of Mike Tyson and Lennox Lewis. This ain't the age of Bernard Hopkins or Roy Jones going up weight classes to go get the heavyweight belt and be great at something. This is the age of let's make the most money. Let's take the less competitive fights. Let's save ourselves. Not saying as a boxer you don't want to save your brain and your health for your future and your kids. But at the same time, if you're in the game to give the fans what they want, the fans what they need, you know, you're in the fight game. Not saying you got to go fight the number one guy every time. But it would be nice to see once in a while these top guys that run their mouth that they're the best, no one can beat me, I got the belts. It would be nice to see them actually go and fight the other top competition before that competition leaves their prime. And then we get a fight. It's just a complete dud. No one wants to see anymore. Hence Mayweather Pacquiao. Hence Triple G Canelo 3. It's just the fans pay a lot of money for this. It's not just the boxers. We're paying $80, $100 to watch these fights, to watch some guy that fucking picked up boxing 3 years ago, and now he's in there with one of the best in the world, and it's supposed to prove something. That doesn't prove anything, man. Boxing is definitely losing, and that's why I gotta give a lot of shout out to Jake Paul. He's carrying boxing, man. You know, no matter what nobody says, he's fighting UFC guys, blah, blah, blah. He's carrying boxing, man, because other than Canelo, Fury, Wilder, I seen Wilder won over the weekend. Congrats to Deontay Wilder. Congrats to Devin Haney, another great one out there. Wasn't scared to take the show. Wasn't scared to say, I'll give you a rematch, Kambosos. You think you're the number one guy? Come and beat the number one guy. I got the belts. You know, that's what we need more of. Haney's carrying that. Fury's carrying that. Calling everybody out. Joshua, you want it. Wilder, you want to get knocked out again. Fucking Ruiz, you want to get beat down. You know, that's what boxing is, man. Fighting the best, not fighting slouches, you know. And I get really passionate talking about boxing because it's one of the sports I actually really love. Other than football, boxing is probably what I keep close eye on after football. Football, boxing, basketball, baseball, you know, in that order. Don't really watch UFC too much, but happy for Nate, man. Got out of that contract with the UFC. He probably gonna come over to boxing, stir up some controversy, get in some good fights, you know, fucking do more than what these boxing guys are doing, for sure. But yeah, I just wanted to touch base on that a little bit with the Terrence Crawford Earl Spence fight. We'll see, man. We'll see what happens with that. Like I said, Wilder won. You know what? A fight I wouldn't mind seeing is Wilder Ruiz. I wouldn't mind seeing that, man. Ruiz got through Ortiz. Ortiz, a big, tough guy. Great power. They say that he's supposed to be 40. Looks way older than he's 40. You know, they don't keep track of your age over there in Cuba. But, you know, great competitor. Great fighter. But definitely would like to see the Wilder-Ruiz fight. That seems like a good fight to be made. I'm ready to see the Jake Paul Anderson Silva fight, you know, coming up in a little bit. So boxing has little things here and there, but definitely, we're not seeing the fights that we should, and the fans deserve. So on that note, we'll leave that alone for boxing. What are we gonna do? Oh, NBA season just started. Lakers playing tonight, playing Golden State. You know, defending champs, getting them rings. You know, how far the Lakers go, I'm not too sure. Not the biggest Laker fan. Um, but I will say what I've seen with the Warriors is it's probably gonna be starting to be the downturn for the Warriors. At least with Draymond Green, I think they could still go win it without him. But just wanted to give my thoughts on when he punched his boy Jordan Poole. Um, me playing ball at the parks a lot. Never played, organized ball, but always at the parks. Tempers run high. People throw elbows. People throw fists. Gets a little chippy. But these are people that you meet at the park. They don't know each other. They're not around each other every day. They're not in team activities every day. Going to the facility every day, knowing each other. Um, just me as a fan watching from the outside. I think that was wrong, man. Even if you get into it with your teammate and words are exchanged, I know it happens. Tempers flare. Um, but there's no reason for your teammate to walk up on you, not like what you're saying, get pushed. You think that would be the end of it. Jordan Poole looks away. You see the video. He pushes him, looks away, and then Draymond's going to sneak off a sucker punch and then act like he's a big man. That's why, you know what, Draymond, for the last 3-4 years, has been going downhill. That's why in the playoffs, all he was doing was getting fouls. Because when you start losing the athletic ability to play defense and move your feet, you get angry and you start fouling. Just like at the park, somebody getting done up bad, he's not gonna, and he can't. His ego doesn't let him take that. He's gonna start fouling, start being rough. People that just can't ball anymore, can't accept it. You know, great defender at one time. Never know Rodman for sure, but great defender. I just think that was some sucker shit, man. You're gonna sucker out of all people. You're gonna sucker punch your teammate. It's kind of like when Carmelo sucker punched that dude on the Knicks and ran away. That's just a sucker move, man. Sucker move. Don't accept it. So, you know, so that's just how I feel about it, man. Ain't gonna sugarcoat anything. Always gonna be real on my thoughts on how I feel. It's sad that someone that you are in the trenches with every day, like your brother, is gonna sucker punch you over some trash talk that he probably started. Everyone knows Draymond Green got a loud mouth, and is always just starting shit, kicking people in the nuts, calling Kevin Durant a bitch. Come on, man. The writing's on the wall. He wants to go to the Lakers, probably ruin them too. But as far as that goes, that's all I really got to say on that situation. Wasn't really a big fan of Draymond. Definitely not now. But hey, man, that's how it goes. So let's get right into the NFL, man. What a great week of the NFL. Had some great games. Had some great games. First game I want to talk about for sure is probably going to be the two AFC contenders in the AFC Championship game. For many years to come, it gives me the feel of Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. Gives me the feel of those great back and forth quarterback games. And that's the Kansas City Chiefs, Buffalo Bills. Not a fan of either team. Not a fan of KC for sure. Raiders' arch rival. Leading the division, definitely don't like them. Don't like Buffalo. That's for damn sure. Ain't nowhere near Buffalo. I hate Buffalo. But, if we're going to be honest, this is a podcast. It's not just my biased opinion. If we're being honest, those are the next two guys, man. For the next 5 to 10 years, those are going to be the guys, man. Hopefully the Raiders can get one coming up in the next few years, and we could be in the talk too, but we got everything else. But just, you know what, man, those guys are on another level. Watching those games, even last year with the AFC Championship game, watching those games was some of the best football I ever seen in my life. And that's not just because I'm like, oh, it's just in the moment. Like, I've been watching football since 2007, 2006. So it's definitely some of the best football I ever watched. Definitely Mamba mentality for both them guys. Josh Allen jumping over dudes. He like 6'6". He built like a tight end, jumping over dudes. All for the will to win, man. All for the will to win and be the best team. And you got to give it's just due when it's due, man. And those guys are definitely the league's in good hands. Tearing up the league right now, doing the thing, man. They're on a collision course. They're on a collision course. They're not gonna go away. Either team, pretty much same team from last year, minus a few pieces here, Tyreek Hill and a few things here. But you know what, man? Got to give them their just due. Great teams. So we'll see. We'll see. Is Buffalo finally gonna get over that hump? Never won a Super Bowl in their history. Uh, so we'll see, man. Josh Allen might be the guy. I know Buffalo's been looking for the next guy after Drew Bledsoe left. After Jim Kelly left. Been on a hunt for a long time, but they finally got a good one over there in Buffalo. So shout out to Buffalo. Shout out to KC, man. Great quarterback play. Great football to watch. Let's go stick it on the quarterbacks. Let's talk about Russell Wilson. Watched the game yesterday. Was a close game. You know what? I give it to Denver, man. Not a Denver fan either. Any team in our division, I'm not gonna be a fan of. But you know what, man? Their defense has always been superb. They've always had a great defense. Keep it going. They great defense. Play behind great defense. They just need a little bit of help from the quarterback position, and that's why they went and paid that man Russell Wilson like a top QB. But is he playing like a top QB? I don't think so. Not at all, man. He looks timid. He looks confused. Doesn't seem assured of himself in the offense. Definitely would like to see him start to use his legs a little bit more like he used to in Seattle. He's just so far, if you say who got the better end of the trade, better end of the deal, Russell for sure. He got paid all that money for playing subpar football. Let's hope, he can start turning it on because you know what, man, even though I hate every team in our division, I still like to believe the AFC West is still the toughest division in football with all the quarterbacks that we have. Just great teams all around. It's been a down year for the AFC West. So, at the end of the day, I'm all about my division. If we ain't going, it'd be nice to see someone from our division tear it up. But, he's not keeping his end of the bargain. He's not keeping up with the money they paid him. Does that have something to do with maybe his life at home with Sierra and Russell and Future? Nah, I'm just playing. But he hasn't performed up to par and he hasn't been himself. And that's no shot just because I don't like the Broncos. That's just me being an observer of every team in the division. I watch these games. I like to know who's leading division, who's losing. So definitely want to see Russell start to get it back, get his mojo back. But so far, man, that has not been the case. Same thing with the Rams. Man. Matthew Stafford was that guy last year. That's why they went and got that guy. Competitor, broke his shoulder in a game, collarbone in a game, came back for a game-winning TD. So you can't say the guy's soft, but from what he's showing, what the Rams is showing, you're supposed to be the Super Bowl champs, and you're playing subpar right now. Subpar football at week 7. That's not going to be good enough, man. It's when you're on top of the mountain, you got to want to act like you want to be there. Right now, they're not acting like they want to be there. They're not playing as well. And does that have to trickle down from maybe not having the OBJ? I don't see him making that great of an impact for them to be slipping the way they are. But, they went and got Jeffrey. He's not really balling. The only guy really balling right now is Kupp, seeing that they were getting rid of Akers. So, it's just Ramsey getting burned. Most overrated DB in the league. Said it here first on the Shiesty show. But, as an outsider looking in, definitely not the same team as last year. Not looking like the defending champs. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see if they can pick it up here toward the end of the year. They got to win against the Panthers. Got to win against the Panthers. That's nice. So let's go through these games real quick. First game we got from last night, Broncos-Chargers. Chargers pull it out 19-16. We got, next game we got is the Eagles-Cowboys. Oh, man, now you know what? That's another quarterback controversy over there. I was riding with Cooper Rush. He did good, man. For the role he played when Dak got hurt, he did a solid job keeping the team afloat, keeping the team moving, team grooving. Can you blame it all on him for one loss? No, you can't. Did he look a little spooked by that pass rush? He sure did, man. He started to feel that pressure from that good Eagles defense. And who would know the Eagles would start out the season 6-0? I don't think anyone had the Eagles going 6-0. That's definitely a shout out to the Eagles. Doing their thing, surprising a lot of people in the league. So yeah, they're doing their thing, man. 6-0. I don't think a lot of people anticipated that, but shout out to Philly, man. But back to what I was saying, Cooper Rush. Me personally, if Dak is not 100% to go, he's the franchise. He got paid the franchise money. If he's not 100% to go, I'll keep him off for one more day. I can't throw one bad game to Cooper Rush and say get rid of him. He is a backup. You got to realize that he's a backup. It's gonna happen. He's gonna have a bad game. But if you're winning, got the Cowboys to 4-2. If you're winning, winning covers up everything. That's what they say, right? Winning covers up everything. So if Dak's not 100% to go, I say you let young bull rock. Let him do his thing. So we'll see how that goes over there in Dallas. So first game we had was Commanders beating the Bears. Hey, man, Commanders got a good defense, man. I have them in fantasy. I think they had up to 11 points on defense takeaway. Man, they're looking sharp, man. They got a good D line. Coach Rivera got them boys playing good football over there, man. Next game we had on the list was the Giants and the Ravens. Another team that went under the radar this year that nobody was really talking about was those New York Giants. New York Giants. Yeah, man. New York Giants carrying it on, man. Daniel Jones carrying it on, man. It's a good win. They beat a solid football team. They beat Lamar Jackson. That's a solid football team over there that they took care of. 24. What's the score here? Hold on. 24-21, or 24-20. My bad. Looking at the scores here. So that's a good team, man. Lurking in the dark. I think the Raiders actually might play the Giants this year, so we're gonna have to keep an eye on them. Next game we had on the list was the Jaguars against the Colts. Colts pulled that one out. That's a little surprising. Jaguars been having a good season this year, so that's a little surprising right there. We got the Patriots and the Browns. Patriots handling business as usual. Browns, man, they've been there and then they've been disappearing. They're there and then they disappear. They're there and then they disappear. Mari comes, has balling, disappears. That's kind of why I think he was too inconsistent with the Raiders, too inconsistent with Dallas. They got rid of him. But like I said, Patriots take care of business there, 38-15. Next game was the Bengals Saints. Didn't really have much to watch in that game, but I do have Joe Burrow in my fantasy. Boy is tearing it up. 300 yards, 4 TDs. He's been tearing it up for me, man. Keep it. He's the motivation behind the podcast, the Shiesty Show. So keep going and do your thing, white boy. Joe Burrow. Next game was the Steelers Bucks. We're gonna talk about this one in a minute. Are we seeing the disintegration of Tom Brady right before our eyes? His 45 father time finally coming to collect Tom Brady and his Hall of Fame jacket. It's starting to look that way, man. Can't fault the guy. 45 years old. You get old. Like we said in boxing, you get old, You're not the same. Speed ain't the same. Arm ain't the same. Marriage ain't the same. All that plays a factor into it. It's still a little too early in the season to know for sure. But from what it looks like, we're slowly seeing the decline of Tom Brady. And he has the weapons. He's got Godwin. He's got Evans. He's had Julio Jones. He's missing Gronk, but he's got a lot of weapons there. You can't put that all on him not having any weapons. I've seen him do a lot more with less weapons when he was in New England. So it's still early in the season, but we'll see what good old Tom Brady has. If he's going to still be yelling on the sideline, yelling at the refs, trying to get calls. That's something I don't agree with. Think Tom Brady's one of the best quarterbacks ever. Don't agree with you yelling at a ref and being able to change the game and the outcome of a game by you crying. Like Troy Aikman said, it's time to take off the dress. Next game we had the 49ers and the Falcons. Oh, shit. 49ers got a great defense this year, man. No, Falcons pulled it out on that one, 28-14. Next game we had the Jets and the Packers. Another team that's looking so-so this year. They doing good, then they lose. Doing good, then they lose. Packers and the Jets, 27-10. All Jets on that one. Vikings, Dolphins, another team. Hey, man, you know what? I want to shout out Tyreek Hill on this one. They said that boy couldn't do it without Tua. He is still tearing up the league, being one of the top receivers, even with a backup quarterback, Teddy Bridgewater coming back. So, man, salute to that guy, killing it in his fantasy for me, Tyreek Hill. But they lose this game 24-16 to the Vikings. Back to the Rams, Panthers. Rams pulled that one out. Seahawks, Cardinals. Oh, Seahawks pulled that out. Picked up Geno in my fantasy leagues, my backup QB. He's been looking real sharp, man. I'm proud of Geno. I seen that guy go from the Jets. Was a backup with the Raiders for a year, I believe. Unless that was Tyrod Taylor. Can't for sure claim he was on the Raiders, but seen him at the Jets, seen him be shopped around a little bit. Seems like he's found a home in Seattle, man. Playing good ball out there. Doing his thing, tearing it up, man. That's why I picked him as my backup QB. I wouldn't pick him up if he wasn't doing solid. So shout out there to boy Geno Smith. Bears Chiefs game. What a great game, man. Probably the highlight of the week. Highlight of the week for sure. Top game, top QBs. Ain't get better than that, man. Like I said, collision course. Back to the Eagles, Dallas. Dallas defense has been playing top-notch ball. Top-notch ball, man. Love them, hate them. I know they're one of the most hated teams in the league, but they've been playing top ball. They just couldn't pull it out this week, man. Let's hope that defense gets back on track. Got y'all in fantasy, too. Let's hope y'all get it back together, ride the ship. And the last game, like I said, Chargers-Broncos, division game. You know it's always going to be close. You know it's always going to be good. Russell, step it up, boy, because they ain't pay you all that money to look cute. Well, that's another episode of the Shiesty Show. I'm your host, Matt, and we out.